So a while back on this channel, I made one of my most popular videos of all time, and that was what are some of the common issues with the BMW 335 with the N54 engine. And I never really made a follow-up to that video talking about the successor to that motor, which is the N55. But before we get into all of that, I just want to say real quickly that we just surpassed 20,000 subscribers on this channel, Simply Car Things, which is insane to me, guys. Now, I know in recent times I have slowed down a little bit on the video uploads. It's just because I've been really busy with work, with school and whatnot. But nevertheless, this is still a huge achievement for me personally, and definitely a big milestone. I really just can't thank you all enough. Thank you so much for the support, the likes, the comments on the videos, just watching my videos in general. Really does mean a lot and has supported me on this amazing journey that has honestly changed my life in so many ways, even at the 20,000 subscriber mark.
Smoking hella pad while I count up this paper. Ballin', this ain't no free throw. Got your bitch on your dick, she a freak hoe. Poet 6, I remix while she D-throw. Drop the top off, I know the business ain't just off. Fast with the bad bitch, you know how we go. I'm a man, go, I ain't talking about the trio. In the pack, hella messy, smell like some Leo. One, then I might cut a deal. Real.
Let's get into some of the major issues known with the BMW N55 turbo inline-6 engine. Now, the N55 is regarded as generally the way more reliable engine compared to the N54, and it's known in the BMW community, especially if you're into these cars, as a pretty solid motor. However, with that being said, that's not to say that this engine doesn't have its own set of issues, and getting into the very first one, that's going to have to be boost leaks and charge pipe failure. Now, the charge pipe obviously is the last supportive piece that basically houses the incoming charge air from the intercooler and sends it into the throttle body. Now, on BMWs, the charge pipes are made of plastic, and under high boost pressure, under high heat, under heat cycling, they tend to crack, they tend to pop off of the throttle body or the intercooler connections itself, and this will throw the car into limp mode, hence giving you a boost leak. This is a very common issue on the N55 BMW engines, more so than on an N54. For some reason, N55 charge pipes just blow up and crack like there's no tomorrow. Even on stock, it's very common for it to happen. So I'd highly recommend that you upgrade your charge pipe and basically just get it out of the way so you don't have to worry about that being an issue on your car. Now, fortunately, the charge pipe replacement is really easy. It's not hard at all. Charge pipes themselves aren't super expensive or anything. It's like 150 to 200 bucks for a high quality aluminum charge pipe replacement. Doing it yourself shouldn't take no more than like 30 to 40 minutes to replace, and it's definitely well worth it in my opinion. Getting into the next big common issues with these cars, that is going to have to be oil leaks. Now, if you guys have seen my N54 common issues video or the top 3 most common oil leaks on BMWs, it is no different than what I'm about to say now. Oil filter housing gasket, valve cover gasket, and oil pan gasket. 3 very common issues on the N55 motor where they tend to leak oil. Now, these gaskets tend to fail over time due to the same culprits, high heat, high temperatures, pressures, etc. They tend to wear out the gaskets, sometimes even prematurely, and therefore you start to get oil leakage. Around the oil filter housing, you will literally see oil starting to leak. That is definitely something that you are going to want to replace, because if you do not replace it, and if you continue to let it leak oil, it can lead to a lot of further problems. If your valve cover gasket is leaking, not as serious, but still something you want to take care of, you will see leaking oil. You may even see smoke rising from the valve cover itself. You will also smell burning oil from the engine base. Sometimes it'll even come into the interior if it's really bad. Now, get those replaced. Oil pan gasket as well. That is the gasket that seals the oil pan to the engine block itself. definitely one of those ones that you want to take care of, get it replaced. It is more of a significant DIY if you are planning on doing it yourself. However, you could take it to a shop. Most places aren't going to charge you super insanely expensive, as long as you go to a reasonably priced indie shop. Next up on the list is going to have to be the good old-fashioned BMW water pump. Now, if you guys watch this channel on a regular basis, you will know my take on these water pumps. They are absolutely garbage. They are crap. They fail really early on, prematurely, sometimes even up to like the 30,000 mile mark they'll fail. But on average, I'd say a safe bet is between 70 to 100,000 miles is a good time when they will probably start to go out. On the N55 engine, it is literally no different. It is a very common issue, unfortunately, and this is definitely one of those higher ticket maintenance items. So if you can get it out of the way while you can, if you're under warranty or whatever, that's definitely a good thing to do, because if the water pump does go out on you, you won't be able to drive the car. It will go into limp mode. It will only be able to start for just a few minutes before the car overheats, and then you'll be forced to shut it down to prevent any engine damage. It's definitely one of those things that you want to get off the list, and I'd say it's the only real like big maintenance item that you kind of need to be looking out for with this engine, but nevertheless, it's still there and it's still good to know about it. Following the water pump, we're going to be getting into the Vanos solenoids. Now, the Vanos solenoids are actually a common issue on the N54 335i's, and what the Vanos solenoids do is actually control the intake and exhaust valve timing, I believe, of the camshafts. I think I explained that correctly. Don't quote me on that. You can look it up for yourselves what Vanos does basically. But the solenoids that basically are used to control those procedures of the car definitely tend to fail over time. Sometimes you can get away with just cleaning them using some brake cleaner or just like a can of compressed air, but it's definitely recommended to replace them over time. It's a pretty simple thing to do. It's not very hard. I actually did it myself on my own car, and they're definitely known to be gunked up with oil over time, just to run into some basic issues. But generally, if you're gonna go about replacing them, it's very important to not purchase off-brand ones like from eBay or Amazon or something like that. Go with OEM ones. Go to fcpeuro.com or OEMbeamerparts.com. Find the actual factory Vanos solenoids, purchase those, and then replace them. That way you don't run into any issues. If your Vanos solenoids do go out, well, there's like a number of things that could happen. You could have limp mode, sometimes you could have an engine service light, sometimes you can run into just other miscellaneous issues, but it's definitely something that you want to be prepared for, especially with the higher mileage cars. But it's not detrimental, you know, just get it out of the way. It's not very expensive, it's not very hard to do. Now, in my honest opinion, that's about it in terms of overall maintenance items or repairs that you're gonna have to deal with, or issues per se, you know, that might come across on the BMW N55 engine. Overall, definitely a much better platform in terms of reliability than the N54 is, but then again, it is limited in its aftermarket tuning capabilities and power figures. So it's really kind of that trade-off, and I've kind of said that over and over. I have videos explaining this. What do you want? Do you want an increased reliable car, I guess you could say? This motor still has some issues, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect by any means. Or do you want something that can just make brute amounts of power well into the 900 horsepower territory mark with no problems? So anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative. If you guys have experienced any of your own issues or anything that you find that's a common problem that I missed on this video, please be sure to leave it in the comments down below. I'm going to try to get back to every single one of you guys, so please feel free to ask me whatever you want. Thank you again for 20,000 subscribers, and with all that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.
B-boy taught me, B-boy taught me. Rah-rah, do that shit, rah-rah, do that.
I've been ballin' out, boy, it ain't nothing major. I can never switch, I can never be a hater. Tryna hit a lick, you get hit with the lasers. I'm smoking